Alright, Percival. Alright, so the two Merlin candidates are Hack and Jed. And now in the first pick, Jed picked Hack. Not a good sign for him, but again, but also not morgable because, or just yet at least, because Merlin can't always pick clean, so I shouldn't blame him for picking dirty. I know it's dirty, but I can't blame him. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what Hack does. Usually that's why I prefer off-picking, that way, because right now if Jed just picks one other person, I don't know whether he means that he is picking someone who he likes or picking someone who he doesn't like in order to be tricky. So if you off-pick, then you can usually pick one good, one bad, because a regular good guy is gonna regular random good guy, if he picks, statistically he's gonna pick one good, one bad. So Merlin can purposely pick one good, one bad. Obviously can't do it all the time, because then if a regular guy, then when he's a regular guy, then he and he doesn't pick one good, one bad, so he either picks two bad guys or two good guys, then they won't automatically assume that he's not Merlin, because then they have to realize maybe he's really is Merlin and is trying to trick us. So as Merlin, you have to sometimes go out of your way to pick one good, one bad. But the vast majority of the time, you should be picking as Merlin one good, one bad, so that way you can help me, Percival, figure out who he wants without actually having to say anything down below. And obviously, when you off-pick, you reject your own, because you don't actually want it to go by. You're making the statement, I reject this. These two people that I picked, there's something wrong with it. That's a intrinsic statement, or not intrinsic, explicit statement that you're saying. So I'm going to ignore what BB said, because I know that BB is either misleading or a regular good guy. So it's kind of irrelevant whether that he says that there's one good, one bad here. If he's good, it's just for later on, if he's when they're going to, let's say the three of us are good, me, Jed, and BB, then they're going to probably take him off the list of Merlin candidates. But again, they can't do it 100%. So now Hack picked Jed and Killer. Perfect. So that means he's telling me that if he's Merlin, he would be saying that that's one good, one bad. And since I know that if he's good, then he's bad, that means he's basically saying that Killer is good. So I already have his full team. Alright, so I'll pick Killer. I don't want to lead them to him. I think I'll actually pick Hack, because I feel like if BB knows that's what I'm looking for and he realizes that I'm Percival, then maybe he'll want to shoot. He'll shoot Hack because Hack directed me towards Killer, and then it would be because I'm Percival and he's Merlin. Alright. Usually, as Percival, I'm gonna go for the person who I'm gonna lean towards the Merlin who is more useful, meaning the one who okay. So meaning I'm gonna lean towards the one who is telling me more information, because I have something more to work with. Okay, well, now it's pretty obvious. Alright. character attack isn't really going to help me. Nah, I can't come out and say hack is good because then I also could be leading them towards Merlin. But I do know exactly what the team is because of Hack's off-pick. He picked 1, 2. Also, that makes sense because BB, who wanted to off-pick something, he obviously wanted to include his spy buddy. And he's throwing him under the bus too, so killer is confirmed. Well, yeah, killer has to be good because he's, well, no, he's bad, so he's gonna be sorry, Jet is bad, so whatever he says is irrelevant. Hey. Well, doesn't help that that Hack is telling me that I'm good because I already know that he's good. Yeah. Attaboy. Right. But unfortunately, Hack is looking really, really bad. Okay. Yeah. No, it's just leading them more towards me. I have to res killer somehow. So the question is whether I go full out, reject this, and pick clean, the question is, would Merlin do such a thing? I also want him to be my Percival. So if I'm Merlin, I want to maybe frame him to being my Percival. Alright, I'm gonna res killer. I do risk killer going against me. What did I say? My M1? My M1, I didn't have one. I just picked hack outright, so if I'm Percival, I'm listening to killer. So if I'm Percival, I'm listening to killer. Oh, I could have rejected that, and then hack looks good. Alright. If I had known that hack was accepting that, approving that, then I guess it could have been good. Why is killer talking about Merlin or I don't know why he's talking about Merlin. You should never talk about Merlin, or good guys should never talk about Merlin, because you're just provoking the bad guys. You're just causing the bad guys to start thinking about Merlin when they might not have. You might bring something to their attention that they might not have realized. Usually it's a really, really bad idea. You should keep your mouth shut. So I'm planning on resing killer if this fails. Well, if I can get Jed to attack BB, then that'd be perfect for me. Because then killer knows for sure that hack is right. If both of us accuse BB, then hack is for sure good. Because he'll assume that at least one of us are bad. And BB might be a question mark. Either both of us are bad together and we're just trying to throw BB under the bus, or one of us is bad and we really are telling the truth that BB is bad. Either way, hack is good, and hack is always going to be on my team. Wait, what? Wow, I got this wrong. Wow, I got this very wrong. Alrighty then, let's see what happened. So if this really was clean, then it's me, Hack, and BB. Hack, on his team, he picked Jed and Killer. He picked 2 bad guys. Okay, so this is... alright, so this is exactly one of the cases that I was talking about, that he picked 2 bad guys and rejected it, when normally you pick 1 good, 1 bad, so I assumed that he was telling me that Killer was res. Oh, I sort of gave myself away then. They were already discussing who Merlin is. Oops. Maybe they'll think that was a joke, I don't know. So Hack did, this is exactly the case, Hack really did pick 2 bad guys instead of 1 good, 1 bad. So I assumed that he was picking him to be the good one, the bad one, and him to be the good one. Alright, so, what else did Hack do? Hack, on his next pick, picked clean. Oh, good thing I didn't res Killer. That would have been really bad. So, I'll just talk, meanwhile, I'll talk a little bit about the trade-offs. So, like I said, Merlin usually is going to pick 1 good, 1 bad, but sometimes he'll pick 2 good or 2 bad just to throw off the bad guys. Now, when he throws off the bad guys, he throws off the good guys also, meaning me, Percival. Usually, the most, it's going to be confusing for Percival. So, since it's going to be confusing me, that's the price that Merlin has to pay. Now, as it happens, Hack got lucky that Jed floated, or probably misclick, or I don't know what, but he floated that one, the second mission. So because he floated the second mission, then it forced me to be with him on a team where I have to figure out which one is good and which one's bad. So Hack got really lucky that I knew for sure which one was Morgana. That way I knew for sure he was Merlin. Otherwise, I would have assumed that he had some inconsistency. Usually, if you're Merlin and you pick either 2 good or 2 bad, since it's confusing to Percival, he probably will get morged. And the hope is that the other Merlin is also going to do something really bad in order to get morged himself. That's usually what's going to happen. And in this case, that's exactly what happened, but usually not so obvious. I mean, here he got really lucky that Merlin gave himself away but Morgana gave himself away in an obvious way, but it could have very well been. Usually in games where that's going to happen, it's going to be only because he comes into an inconsistency. For example, let's say Jed also picks 1 good, 1 bad, and it turns out that both of them are really good, or both of them are really bad, yeah. So let's say Jed had off-picked Hack and BB, and it turns out that BB is bad. For example, no, sorry, I'll use the real example. Let's say Jed off-picked Hack and Killer, and then I realize that I go on a mission just me and Killer is exposed. So then I realize that both Jed and Hack had picked 2 of the same team, and then I'm back to square one basically. Even if Killer doesn't outright do it, let's say someone else, let's say both Merlins end up accusing Killer at some point or whatever it is, then the only way that that Hack can get out of it is if Jed does something equally bad. This is unfortunate that I said something, because I really didn't know that we had won, or that we were about to win. I didn't know that it was clean. Alright, let's see if they're saying anything interesting. Alright, I kind of want to go over there. Here. I told him to stop talking. Why are you talking? Don't talk about Merlin. Lol, ha ha ha. Okay. So I basically accused Boca. I'm not quite following their logic, but Jed accused me, Killer saying you have no option anyways after I'm 3, obviously. Also hack app showed you can be Merlin. That he apped this one? Which app one? Oh, this one. No, he kind of has to app. He has no choice. I mean, if he wants to look good, he can't accuse the team that just succeeded. It's just weird. Thing is, I think that they're probably going to realize that if BB were Merlin, he would just pick the 2 good guys. Well, maybe, but it's very easy for Merlin just to simply pick 2 good guys out of the 3 in order to win it. And you can reject it, of course, like you did, and then may or may not get shot as Merlin, but at least that's like the obvious move. The reason that BB off-picked it is because he realized that he's not going to get on a mission, because having 3 people on a mission all succeeding really looks good, because if on 3 mission is the biggest mission out there, so if one of them so if you're a bad guy and you're on the mission, you usually that's your best opportunity to fail something. So given that it's so strong to believe that the 3 of us are clean, BB realizes he's not going to go on a mission, so he might as well pick 2 out of the 3 from us and then reject it, or either reject it or accept it himself. To pick 2 just because that way, if that fails, then BB looks much better because, well, not much better, but he, I mean, that's the only option, and at least he gets hammered that way. Oh, so is this what... basically what they're saying there is that when it was BB and Hack, when it was the 2 of them plus Killer, Hack rejected it, but when they added me, he approved it. So trying to figure out how that can make sense. Maybe because one of them is Percival and it didn't have enough Merlins. That's likely. So that might get me shot, which is a good thing. Let's see. So now they're looking at Hack's M1. He took Boca, not Morg. What did he do? Hack took Jed and Killer. don't think it's relevant. Is not reasonable or most reasonable? I can't tell. It's a misspelling, but I'm not sure in which way. BB, Merlin, hack, Percy. That's the best. Explain what else. BB accuse you. That's all. BB accusing you. VT Res. Jed, Merlin is Morgana. Yeah, so they don't think that he... Well, also, they probably don't think that BB would have off-picked 2 Merlins. So I'm not going to get shot if BB is Percival. So if BB is Percival, then hack has to be Merlin. I don't know if that's what they're saying, but that's what I realized. Hack Percy can't app killer when BB when BB accused killer. When did BB accuse killer? I don't remember, but we'll see. Okay, so they're recalling when Hack came out and tried to res me. That's probably why BB was okay with this. Maybe because he realized that if Hack is good, or if he had a hunch that Hack is Merlin, then he knows the team of 3. And by the way, when you're making statements like this, I think Jed can be a little more spy because Boca less often floats that. Even though it's kind of like vague, like statistically less often, whatever, that's huge for, like, that's literally saying out loud who they think is good and who they think is bad. Even though you're not officially making an accusation, you're still you're still shading doubt on Jed and giving me more trust, and that's a good thing for Merlin to do. And Merlin wouldn't do that if it were the opposite. If he were Merlin and he knows that Jed is good and Boca and that I'm bad, he wouldn't be saying me who is bad is looking pretty good over Jed who is good. He wouldn't do that. So if he's Merlin, then that's what Merlin would be saying. And back to the off pick, when BB picked the 2 of them, he would rather be the one to make the decision of who to take off, because then that way, if there's only one bad guy on the team, then at least he gets to decide which one he wants to take off. So for example, he took off Hack. And actually that might be why he trusted Hack later on in the game, because Hack wasn't on the failing mission. Yeah. So that lent more trust to Hack. So if BB gets to do it, picks the 2 of us, or picks any 2, then he's the one who sets the terms, as opposed to, let's say, a bad guy, let's say Killer picking the terms, and then Killer, who's a bad guy, would end up actually picking, forcing Merlin to be on, Morgana to be, or whatever, not Morgana, but forcing his spy buddy to be on the team, because if he's not, then the game's over. So at least BB basically just gives himself a chance to win it right there, even though he knows that it's dirty. If he happens to, like, if he just happened to pick the 2 of us, he would have probably And he might have gotten shot. And also he would win. What did they say here? Or he's talking about his off pick. And I don't know if that should mean anything. Someone outside the mission after M3. Hack did not take Boca. Hack didn't take me when? M1. Good shot, BB. Alright, good game. This was actually a pretty indicative game, or at least a good example of why Merlin needs to pick, or does pick, every once in a while, picks two bad guys. Yes, it confuses me and it's a risk. Now it happened to work out, but that way Merlin keeps his credibility also in the future, but also now I think he was less of a Merlin candidate. They barely even spoke about him being Merlin, and that might be why, because they realized that he wouldn't have picked two bad guys. Alright.